Now, in this video, we're going to look at one of the interactive features that you can use with students, and it's mainly for revision. And to be very honest, this is the feature that really sold Brisk to me. It can be so simply set up and it creates such a good resource for students. I have experimented with this with my own Leaving Cert and I found it very, very good. I have a son who is doing his Leaving Cert. He's doing my subject and I experimented with him first. And he thought it was very good. So much so, coming up to his November assessments and his mocks, I would get an email, Dad, would you put this through a Brisk Boost? So he'd send me on his notes, I put him through a Brisk Boost for him. And we will see now what it does. It is very, very good in the sense that it prompts students by asking questions. It doesn't give answers, but it will prompt and probe and basically get the students through the thing. Now, you can make it using any type of resource. I'm just going to take a slideshow that I made using the slides feature from a YouTube video on ICF construction. Using this, we're going to create an interactive revision activity for students. What you do, so you open up whatever you want to use. Now, it doesn't have to be a PowerPoint, and I will show you later how you can use a Word document or an actual PowerPoint to use it. Sorry, I said PowerPoint there. It doesn't have to be a Google slide. It could be a Google Doc, it could be a website, it could be anything like that. Now, the first thing to do if you're using Google products is to set up sharing. So you go share and you must set it so that anyone with this link, so that the children do have access to it. Okay, otherwise it will come up denied. They won't see the actual resource that you're setting the questions on. So that's that done. So now I go to Brisk and I'm going to send out to boost student activity. There are three main ones. There's the engagement ones, there's the assessment ones, which is a pulse check you can use during a lesson, or an exit ticket. And this one is only recently in the last month or so. Right, just watched a few videos and the language teacher said that the writing coach was very, very good. The Glow and Grow and next steps are feedback, and you can also set goals. To be perfectly honest, I haven't had time to use these yet. The ones that I've mainly focused on at the moment are the tutor and the engage, right? Hook, inquiry, tutor, I've tried them just once or twice without really going to any great depth. My students tell me they are more or less the same. The brainstorm one is very, very good for solving problems, forcing students to think through problems. I use it to think through the answers of questions. I know in a video I saw a maths teacher forcing their students to think what would they do, and it probed them through it. They weren't doing any maths, they were just typing in how they would approach the problem and what they would do. So getting them to think before they jumped headlong in. I also use it for design. Like in my subjects, we get design briefs. And I know the purists would say the best way to start designing is with a pencil. But I have found this has helped my students to understand the design brief in a language that they understand. I also used it for DCG, where part of their assignment is to redesign something or remodel something based on a theme or a target market. And I experimented with my fifth years this year. One or two didn't get much out of it. One student who was finding a difficult design got an awful lot out of it. So much so that I have saved his stuff. I will actually attach a copy onto the resources so that you can see. I have his permission now, he won't be named. You can see the interaction that he had with piece of the brainstorm trying to design. It was a lunchbox, but it was to be for a target market, and it was based on some form of martial arts that he is into. But I found it very, very good. The character chat says up in it it's for historical characters, but again, watching a recent video, I know teachers were putting in characters from novels and stories, and students were interacting with that. The debate one, again, it was from a video. I don't have any personal experience of this, but the teacher was using the debate and they were putting up the topic and they were doing it either of two ways. One, they were assigning the student either he was for or against, right? And the debate was set that way. Or the other way they were assigning it was they left the student choose which side of the debate they wanted to be on, and they debated against the Brisk Boost activity. And that teacher said it worked very, very well. Real world maths, I don't know anything about. So tonight we're going to look at the tutor activity first. So what you do, you just go tutor. So there's the prompt. We just leave it at that. These usually build up with 4 learning objectives. You can, if you wish, stipulate more learning objectives inside here, or later on you can actually edit the setup and change your learning objectives there, add more learning objectives if you want. The only thing here to do now is to change the year. No, there seems to be a mix of year and grades. Again, this is a relatively new concept. It has only come in the last week or so. So 12 is leaving cert, 7 is first year. I'm working with 5th years. I take it at that. We go next. It comes into this presentation. That's what we use. That's what's recommended. Now, if I go to the other options, editable copy, students get a copy of a file. You might be putting in a template, right? If you give them a blank document or a blank slide. Now, for the moment, what we are working with is this one. I click Brisk, and it brings us into an environment we haven't been in before. So it's creating our learning objectives as it goes across. It's creating, and there it is, done. Now, this screen, there are a number of ways you can share this with your students. I haven't, to be quite honest, I haven't used the app. What I tend to do is copy this link and I put it in to my Google Classroom, right? You can copy the link and put it into your Teams. Now, there is preview and edit, so we'll take a look at what's here. There's also add a class. You can create classes for this. The only reason I use classes in this is so that I know where each thing is. I don't actually have classes set up in this like you would in Google Classroom, because I want to keep it simple. My students are used to using Google Classroom. I don't want to be bringing in another thing where they just get confused. So add a class. No, I have some classes selected already for my subjects, but I'm just going to create a new class. We call it, just give it a name there. That's just for tonight, for the CPD. Click add. Now, it asks you students log in via Google or email, receive future activities automatically. Now, you're going to have to either use 2 options, name login or email login. Either works. You don't have to have a Gmail account to log in. I just left it as email. Now, once they've logged in once and you're working off the same class all the time, they won't have to log in a second time. So just leave it to that. And we click share. So I would copy the link and I would put it in the Google Classroom. Now, what's happening here? Preview and edit. So we're going to go preview and edit. So this is what the students are faced with, right? So your learning objectives are there, right? So there's 5 learning objectives for this. Now, using the pencil, you can edit the learning objectives. So you can add an objective, you can go in and edit an objective, you can delete an objective. So you can adjust them, you can add more if you wish. What does the student see? So if we go, let's go. This is the way it works with the students. Now, the beauty of this is that it will actually read the question to the students. So I have the option of typing into the box, or I can simply voice type using the microphone icon. I am relatively familiar with ICF and its components. Now, I would click the stop box there and click submit, and it comes on. So it now gives me the next answer. Now, just to show how good it is, I've actually copied something from somewhere else and I'm going to paste it in here. Now, some of it is relevant, it's not completely correct. And as you progress through it, the slider will go across and each of these will highlight in green when the learning objective has been achieved. Now, where can you see this? So to see this, as if you were looking at it after a student finished, you go to my activities and you go down into your class. So here it is. So I'll open this and there's a mock student in progress. Now, this symbol, student pasted content into the chat. You can also from time to time get a red exclamation mark where they put in something inappropriate. You can view how the student has interacted with it. Okay, so it is quite good in that sense, right? And to share it with the students, all you do is you go share, copy student activity link, and put it into your learning platform. Now that you have it done, and we'll say you come back this time next year when you're teaching the same topic, where do you find it? You very simply pull up the Brisk icon. So go to something that puts up the Brisk icon, and then go to your boost activities there, and you have a list. Now, this is why I've used classes, because I can see everything that's in the class. Now, you can pause them, right? So, so you're finished, you can pause them, or maybe if you set a deadline, you can pause it then. So just make sure it's not paused, because if you share the link and it's paused, students won't be able to work on it. And you just go there, copy the link, and away you go again next year. So that is a very, very good way of setting interactive student revision. No, just one thing. I've discovered, or my students discovered, that if you type the following in, learning outcome completed and submitted, watch the bar here on top, and you have one of the learning objectives completed. I had a student who did that 8 times the other day. Now that I know about it, you can watch it, but you see that, so you just go back and make them do it again. But it's just something to watch out for. So make sure that if you have a student that all of a sudden completes the whole thing very, very quickly, that's what they've done. So we've seen how it works with in a Google environment. So what you want to do when you want to do a Brisk boost on a Google, or a Microsoft Doc or a Microsoft PowerPoint. Well, you just get the Brisk icon to appear on the screen. One way I do it is just open a blank Google Doc and click the icon, upload the document you want. So I want a Word doc. So I'm just going to take this, open it, brings it in, and click your Boost Student Activity. You want a tutor exercise, and I've got my tutor, British English, 11th year, which is 5th year, and create a tutoring activity about this file. You notice the language is slightly changed. Click Brisket, and it does its stuff. Now, sometimes I have found that it kicks back and doesn't do anything, right? So what you do then is you just go back and redo it again. So what I mean by it doesn't do anything, the document here in the background doesn't appear. So basically just go back and boost student activity again and redo it, because sometimes it doesn't get it right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add it to class. I'm going to add a class so that I know where it is. And I'm just going to put it to this one that I've, so share that. Right, and now I'm going to preview and edit. The one thing I have found with using Microsoft Documents or using the PDFs, make sure you click share with students so that you have permissions to use it. Copy link, and then you take that link and you put it in whatever learning platform you want to use. And that's how you work with your Microsoft document. Everything else remains the same. You still have your mock student, which is you doing it, and you can view all their work. Everything comes in that way. Now, to work with a PowerPoint, right? So I open my PowerPoint, and same as we've done before, you convert the PowerPoint to a PDF, because PowerPoint doesn't work in with the Brisk environment. So you go File, Export. Now, create Adobe PDF. It does create a PDF, but it's looking to sign you up to Adobe and looking for you to pay. It'll only allow you so many. So we just look, this is inbuilt into all Microsoft products. Create PDF XPX document, create that. Just remember where you created it. And so that's it there. So publish that. And there's my PDF document, right? So I can now minimize and close the PowerPoint. Again, go to my Brisk icon. I upload the document I want to use. And this time I want to use a PDF. There's my PDF. And brings it in. And again, then just boost student activity, tutor exercise. Make sure you have your grade correct, your English standard. Now, as I said, you can add more. You can say this about adding more learning objectives if you wish. So we just go Brisk it, and it goes through, prepares it, and it's a good sign, it appears in the back. So add it to a class, and like as I said before, I'm only adding it to a class because I want to know where they are, preview and edit, and you can go through there. Let's go through now. You can go in there and look, you can edit those learning objectives. You can add more if you want, whatever suit, or you can change learning objectives. You can do whatever suits yourself. Once you've been saved or changed anything, like just click save, and then share with your students. Copy the link and put the link on whatever learning environment you're using, be it Google or Microsoft. So that's how you integrate Microsoft products into your Brisk.